You want to talk about this real interesting, amazing dude, Jussie Smollet?
Jussie Smollet, yes.
Let's call him Juicy because that's his actual name. Do you know that that's actually his name is Jussie Smollet?
I don't know if that's a
You've heard that before.
fact or not, but all
The
right.
great Dave
I'm going
Chappelle.
to call him Mr. Smollett.
Smollett?
Smollett?
Mr. Smollett? You're going to give him that level of respect? I mean, you're a professional. I get it. Yeah. The great Dave Chappelle coined his new name, Jussie Smollett. I think he deserves that name, given the level of evil that might have gone into the plan he concocted. Evil in the sense of he did something that he felt would be good for him in the political capital of Hollywood, not the least corrupt place in the world. But he did it in a way that I think hurts society, literally hurts society, because he concocted this fictional narrative, right?
Well, why are we talking about this? His case got overturned.
His case got overturned. So I'm sure we're not saying he's innocent.
Is it a vindication?
That's a good question. Is it a vindication? I say no. What do you say?
I don't think it's a vindication because the case was overturned on a technicality.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a vindication. A vindication would be when they overturned it and the courts would put something on the record like we found him to be innocent or not, credible, or the case should be dismissed because there's evidence pointing to his innocence and so forth. So there's no such language in the appeal. He got overturned one reason and one reason only. The court said this case should have never got prosecuted. The second time, it should have never happened. The original time, the first time, he was indicted, and then he got a deal because he knew the prosecutor. It was a lot of nepotism and talk about fascism. He knew the prosecutor, Kim Fox. Kim Fox hooked him up with a really sweet deal. Basically said, give up $10,000 in community service and we'll call it a day.
Okay. But can we back up?
Yeah.
Let's back up to the night.
Yeah.
That crazy night in cold Chicago, Illinois, when Jussie Smollett leaves his apartment. What does he do?
Well, according to him, he tries to go to a Subway to get a sandwich in the middle of the night past 12 o'clock when it was 20, 30 below zero.
No. It was that cold?
Yes, it was one of the coldest nights in Chicago history.
And he's walking to Subway to get a sandwich.
Yeah, and he's walking to Subway allegedly to get a sandwich, and when his coincidentally accosted by two individuals that happened to be there at the same place, same time when nobody else on the planet was out because it was Siberia.
This is why when the cops showed up at his apartment after he filed the police report or called the police, they seemed a little suspicious. I mean, they seemed to be a little suspicious of his story, and that's why. So you're saying it was sort of below zero, Chicago, Illinois. Have you been?
Yeah, by the way, they were suspicious because the guy's walking around with a noose around his neck.
Okay, we're going to get to that. We're definitely going to get to the noose. That's a nice, colorful piece he added.
What victim, quote unquote, walks around with a noose still on their neck, or their perpetrators,
a performative victim.
Yeah,
a performative victim, an actor, a literal professional actor. He was in Alien Covenant or Prometheus. He was in one of those.
I'm not a fan, so I don't know.
He's in Empire. He was kind of a thing. He was kind of a big star. Maybe he still is.
So you say.
I mean, I'm not a fan of this guy.
I don't know who he is, other than the fact that he's on the news for being an actor. That's all I know. Or was an actor. I heard his career's not.
So it's below zero in Chicago, Illinois. Have you been to Chicago when it's below zero?
I've been to Chicago when it's freezing cold in October, and I can't imagine below zero because
it's the coldest place I've ever been in my life.
Not only is it cold, but the whipping winds. The wind makes it a lot worse. It could be 10 degrees, but when that wind hits you, it feels like cold dogs biting on you in every which way and through your bones, and there's no way of escaping that cold.
So he steps out of his apartment into this unearthly cold, nothing around, no one around but cold dogs biting him.
Yeah.
And he claims that two gentlemen come out of the fog.
Right.
They're wearing MAGA hats.
Right.
And ski masks.
Yes.
So ski masks with red MAGA hats on.
Yes.
They run towards him.
That's my understanding.
Because he's a black man, allegedly.
Yes.
And they start yelling racial epithets at him.
And homosexual epithets at the same time.
So they're saying, hey, gay dude, and hey
gay
N-word, and
yes.
all that stuff.
Yes.
This is what they're saying.
Yes.
Running at him, and then they just start beating him.
Well, that's what Smollett says.
But he fights back because he's a tough guy.
That's what Smollett says.
And then what do they do?
And then they take off. They
hold on,
they
they
put
do
the noose
more.
around his neck and then they take off. They try to choke him out and they say, "This is what you get for being. This is MAGA country."
This Chicago, Illinois is MAGA country?
Well, that's what Smollett said. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is
Who
preposterous.
thinks that's MAGA country? Am I crazy?
Listen, I'm a criminal defense attorney doing this for a quarter century. I just thought the whole thing just was complete nonsense.
Right.
The guy will tell you, everybody's supposed to be presumed innocent before a jury finds you guilty. But I just knew from my gut, this guy's not telling the truth. He's a pathological liar. Nobody on the planet believes any of what he said. Nothing that he said makes any sense.
Hold on. People believed it for a while. There was a moment of time. I mean, he came out with the story.
The police didn't believe it.
Police did not, but it seemed to be on the front page news. There was a lot of mainstream headlines.
Right.
Actor, Hollywood superstar, Jussie Smollet, his old name.
Right.
Victim of racial and homophobic physical assault on the streets of Chicago. So he did make news and people did believe it. And it was kind of capital for him. It was political leverage and capital for him in Hollywood. I'm sure his agent the next morning said, "Mr. Smollett, I'm sorry this happened to you, but we got gold here, baby. We got gold here because you were victimized for being black. You were victimized for being a gay man. In Hollywood, this is gold. You're going to star in the next Ben-Hur or something. I don't know what. You're going to star in a massive tentpole movie because of this political capital." That's what they thought. And isn't that the reason why he concocted this entire insane scenario?
I don't know why he concocted it, but I know it was the dumbest thing in the world to concoct. And on top of all of that,
It would have been genius if it worked.
I don't know how he thought he was going to get away with it. Two of the people that he hired to do this were his body trainers, the Osandura brothers, Bola and Mola, or whatever his name is.
Right.
And they came out and they said that Jussie Smollett paid us money because these two are just starving actors, right? They're trainers of Jussie Smollett. For some reason, Smollett thinks this is a great PR campaign for him.
He does.
And you got to remember at the time, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of riots going on in America. So this is coming off the heels of
BLM
that.
riots are happening at this point?
A lot of different riots.
Is this post
like
George?
Kenosha, Wisconsin, there was riots
That
going
was
on.
big.
Charleston, North Carolina. So there's a lot of different things going on. I guess this knucklehead thought, hey, listen,
Let me plug into this stream.
I could put the death blow, into this political movement, and I can, exacerbate it by this event that is also going to catapult me into the spotlight and give me opportunities which I've never had before. It's idiocracy, but that's the way he was thinking.
Well, it's opportunism. I don't think it's dumb. There is intelligence behind this plan. I think it's unethical, and I think it's kind of like bordering on even evil. And maybe that's taking it too far. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't really physically hurt anyone or destroy anyone's lives. But I think he attempted to put a big dent into our culture, into our society, into this shared existence we have with people of all ethnicities who live here together in America, who love each other and work together. But then here come these like race baiters who want to gain political capital or entertainment capital or financial capital of some kind by attacking our perceptions, right? They're like, he wanted to create this perception that he was victimized for just being a black man walking down the street by these MAGA wearing assailants.
I think it's much more serious than you're saying. It was originally a 16-count felony indictment. He caused the city of Chicago $130,000 in overtime police taxpayer money, which those police could have used the resources to go and do the murder cases and do the other homicide cases and other things that they're handling. But they put all their efforts onto Smollett because he was a big star. They didn't want this black eye in the Chicago police where they're not investigating it properly. And they had a bad reputation at the time. So they're putting their men on Smollett's case. So it's not a financial cost. It's not a small thing. It's a really big thing. And he got away with it by knowing Kim Foxx.
By the way, I'm not trying to say it's small.
Yeah.
Because you're right. There's a massive financial cost to the city of Chicago. I'm just saying there's probably even a bigger cost. If you're like a young black kid growing up in any city in America and you see this headline and you think to yourself, two white dudes in MAGA hats attacked this star that I look up to who stars on Empire, the TV show, who's in Alien, the movie. whatever version of it was, they attacked him and poured bleach on him.
Yeah.
Because of his black skin, because of my dark skin. I'm a kid growing up. I'm an African-American kid. I see that. That's the cost that bothers me, is the cost to that kid and millions of those boys and girls who are growing up, forget adults, even adults, but like the kids who look at that and go, man, this country is letting me down. We're letting racism run rampant. That's the cost that I worry about. And how do we get Jussie Smollet to pay retribution for that cost? Is it enough that it's been shown to be a hoax? Is that enough?
Well, the fear at the time was the inflammatory rhetoric. By him going out and making these comments, it could have caused rioting going on. That was the fear of the Chicago police. That's why they were adamantly, zealously trying to locate who these individuals were. And that's why it's a really big crime what he committed, because on the precipice of all these different things going on in America right now this actor's going to get beat up because he's black and is gay. That would have been bad if that was true. So
if that was true, we're living in a way worse country than we think we are.
And that was the perception and the optics of Jussie Smollet. He thought that America was at that point where I guess that people would rise to the occasion once they found out that an actor like himself would be accosted like that. But it backfired on him. And now
it backfired big.
Yeah, it backfired on him big, and now he's trying to seek vindication because he's saying he won. He did not win whatsoever.
By the way, he never admitted to it.
Yeah, because
as far as I know, I could be wrong, but I looked at his hearing where he was sentenced or where he was convicted, and he literally spoke. And am I wrong? He put on this performance for the court where he said, I will continue to fight for my right and redeem my honor, and this is a disgrace. And it's like, dude, you've been caught, bro. We know the two dudes you hired. They're black guys that beat you up. We know the jig is up. Like, at least fess up, and he still tries to double down.
If he didn't go in the press and he didn't say he was innocent after he took the deal, they would have never prosecuted him. That guy's a fool. He should have ducked the cameras. I would have told
So Jussie tempted the system.
He poked the sleeping bear. They saw that he walked, paying $10,000 in cash and only X amount of community service where nobody else got that red carpet treatment. And everybody got outraged. But here's the thing. I know you're not going to like this part, but I'm on Smollett's side as far as the appeal's concerned. They had a deal. Now, he's guilty as hell.
What was the deal?
Smollett committed this crime, but he had a deal. The prosecutor reneged on the deal. And if they do that, it's against public policy because now they're sending a message that criminal defense attorneys like myself can't do business anymore with the government.
I agree with that.
So the result is correct. But he's not vindicated. His guilty is sin. The jury found that he was guilty. In the court of public opinion, we all know he's guilty. But legally speaking, on a technicality, because his due process was violated under 14th Amendment, since we prosecuted under double jeopardy twice, since the court is now saying there's a finality of the merits because the government said, we're cool with you as long as you do the community service, we'll drop the case. That in law, as you know, is a contract. Mm-hmm. And they're saying you broke that contract. And the Illinois Supreme Court disagreed with the appellate court, the circuit courts on the bottom. Mm-hmm. In fact, the Illinois court said to the lower courts, you guys are all idiots. Every single judge made the wrong ruling. You should have never prosecuted Smollett. And I agree with that. 100% agree with that.
Walk us through that on a timeline. So first he committed this crime, he got caught, and he got prosecuted. And then they made a plea bargain agreement with him?
They indicted him with 16 counts. Wow. With the old prosecutor. And you know, there's a
16 counts of what?
Different things. Falsifying police reports.
So like lying about this fact.
Obstruction of justice, things like that, little things like that. So then now an indictment is just a criminal complaint that's basically served by a jury. The jury listens to it. It's a secret jury that listens to the evidence. Mm-hmm. Anybody could get indicted. Let me just put it that way. I could indict you right now. I just need a little bit of evidence, right? But when they found out that he was indicted, the lawyer basically made a call to Kim Foxx, who was politically motivated to get the charges dismissed against Jussie Smollet.
Why was she?
She was a fan. She was a fan of Jussie Smollet. This is a conflict. They should have threw her butt out, but they didn't. So what Kim Foxx did was she pulled a fast one. She said, okay, I'm in a conflict. I'm going to give it to another prosecutor who I'm going to select. So she selected a prosecutor who basically gave Jussie Smollet that sweetheart deal at the direction of Kim Foxx, who's the lady that knows Jussie Smollett.
What was the deal exactly?
You do 10,000. You do give back $10,000 of bail, which is 10% of the money you cost the state, and community service. That was it. The thing was, Tony, the problem was they tried to look and see whether somebody in Jussie Smollett's position ever had a deal like that. They couldn't find one. So what does that mean? Jussie Smollett.
Do you need precedent like that?
Well, it would be helpful to say, how can you justify this? You could say, we did it in the case of Bob Jones. We did it in the case of John Smith. And you have analogous facts to that. And you say, maybe you could justify it, but there's nothing to justify it. And the optics look bad.
Yeah.
The optics look bad because Kim Foxx knew Jussie Smollett. There was a famous politician, as soon as she heard about Jussie Smollett being arrested, she said, this is a modern day lynching. She said immediately, she Googled it, all right, but she was wrong. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon about, this is terrible. I can't believe that MAGA is doing this and this is happening.
Lynching is back in America, in the city of Chicago, the great city of Chicago, and it's being done by MAGA guys.
Right.
That's a terrible headline.
When it was being done by two Africans, actually, not even African-American, two Africans.
Not even African-Americans.
Africans.
Literal African people.
And they were working here as students, and they were trying to break it into the business, and they were going to do whatever Jussie said. Jussie, you want me to beat you up? I'll do that. Yeah. Jussie, you want me to put a noose around your neck? I'll do that, because these poor guys, they're getting paid, I think, what do they get paid, $1,000 or $2,000? That's a world of money to them. They have no money. So, of course, they're going to do what Jussie did. And then what's the irony is Jussie denies they did it. And then when he's told that these are the brothers that did it, he goes, oh, maybe they did do it. So he's playing this game with the cops about who did it, who didn't do it. This is all a part of the obstructing case that's going on.
He's trying to confuse it, but the facts are clear. The jury came down hard. He hired these guys to come fake an attack on him and really beat him up.
Yeah.
Have a bottle of bleach, have a noose, throw the noose around his neck and run away.
Right.
At which point he could then call the cops and make a whole performative scene.
Yeah, and think about this, just rationally, logically. Who is looking for Jussie Smollett on a Wednesday night at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's 20 below zero by a subway in the middle of the street where nobody is in Chicago that day?
Like, you got to have a lot of racism. And it's not just a little racism. You need a hardcore, impassioned racism that's cold proof to go out and do racism on that level.
But then on top of all that, you need
super racism.
And on top of all that, you need to make sure the person's going to be there, or else why are you carrying bleach on you? Why are you carrying a noose on you? And where are you carrying this material? And don't you think that people are going to see you carrying bleach and noose?
Right.
It's just preposterous. And then where do you throw the bleach? Where do you throw the noose? And
that's crazy.
Let's just say this all happened. Why the hell would a victim carry a noose from the street all the way back up to the apartment? And then when the cops show up to his place, he says, oh, I didn't know.
It's on his neck.
It's on his neck. I forgot it was on me. I had it so. And then he changed and goes, no, I wanted you to see it. The stories are evolving. First, he forgot it was on him.
It's an audition tape, bro. He's a bad actor. He's auditioning.
And I could be wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong on the timeline and the facts. But basically, you Google research this. Everybody go Google or YouTube the video where Jussie's talking to the police.
Juicy.
Jussie.
Smollett. I'm doing the Dave Chappelle I'm honoring Mr. Chappelle.
So you could see him talking to the police. You be the judge when he's talking to ABC News. He's saying, well, why would they do this to you? Because supposedly he was going hard on the president. And when you're watching the body language of him and you see him, I'm sorry, I'm a BS lie detector art. Yeah, I could tell a BS artist from far away. This guy lying through his teeth. He can't even lie right. And he has this
Amber Heard.
He has this overall sense of grandiose self. That he believes that everybody owes him something, an entitlement. Because I don't know if it's because he's an actor, or it's because he's on Empire. He believes that everybody owes him something, and that's why he's not apologizing.
There's echoes of Don Lemon there.
That's why
I gotta take. I'm attacking race baiters. I'm sorry.
So that's why he's not admitting it, because. He's not admitting it. Long story is because he was given a sweet deal, but the idiot went on television and said, I'm innocent, which caused a tidal wave of people to be outraged. If he just shut his mouth and he ducked the cameras and he went home that night, I predict there wouldn't have been a second filing.
His plea deal would have stood. He would have been fine. He kind of quietly would have done some community service.
Yes.
Paid back $10,000, 10% of the city costs that he created.
Yes.
But instead he tempted the bear, as you said. The justice system came after him again, and this is where the justice system kind of screwed up, right?
Yeah, they screwed up
because they agreed with him not to go after him, and then they changed their mind.
Well,
or was
I'll tell you exactly what happened. So this is the interplay. You're going to get in the inside. So I'm 90% positive they went and had a conversation after he took this deal. Jussie Smollet said, "Is it over?" And his lawyer said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you sure they can't come back after me?" And the lawyer said, rightfully so, "Yes, they can't come back after you. It's double jeopardy." Now,
can I ask, is that on a federal level, state level? How does double jeopardy work? Is it everywhere?
It's only on a state level because the federal government is a separate government, separate sovereignty, but this is not a federal case anyway.
How do we get double jeopardy? Where does it come from? It's in the Constitution.
Double jeopardy means that when you're basically asking somebody, you're charging somebody with a crime.
Right.
And if you win, let's just say like you win, you beat the government can't come back and say, "I've got more of the same crime at you."
Right.
You got to bring all your actions at one time. You can't bring like 20 trials at one time. You bring in 20 counts at one time for one trial, but not 20 charges at different times if it's within the same act and occurrence. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is that the wording, act and occurrence? Sort of.
Some lingo.
But does it originate in the Constitution as a right that we have? I think it does.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in the Constitution. It's
one of our inalienable rights of like, we cannot be prosecuted twice for the same crime.
Right. That's under the 14th Amendment, so that lawyer had a conversation with him, and Jussie's like, "Hey, is this over?" "Yeah, it's over." "Can they come after me?" "No, they can't." "Are you sure?" 100%. What does Jussie do? He goes outside. "I am innocent," because in his mind, he can't get prosecuted again.
And he's right.
He was right, but the problem was it got political, and they weaponized the political system against Jussie Smollett because it looked bad. Just the way they're doing against politicians, they weaponize it. Karma is a bitch. It came after him. He started the karma, that bad karma. If he ducked that, he would have never got prosecuted again. But because he went out in public and he thumbed his nose and he said, "Ha, you can't come after me."
Right.
The judge in that case went and got so outraged, he assigned a special prosecutor and said this was basically an affront to democracy, something like that. This is an affront to all the bargaining and the power and the Constitution. Basically, this is a disgrace. So he basically went and hired a special prosecutor who thought that Kim Foxx basically did something illegal. Now,
they tried to invalidate that original plea agreement.
They tried to void that original agreement.
It wasn't even a plea agreement. I keep calling it that. He didn't plea anything.
Well, he accepted an offer. It's true. He
didn't say he's guilty.
It was well, you don't have to accept an offer. A diversionary offer, you could plead no contest.
Is that what he did?
You could. I don't know if he did a no contest, but you could do a no contest plea. No contest means you're not fighting the charges. It has the same force and effect as a guilty plea, but it may not be used against you in civil court. And you could always use that no contest to say, "I didn't admit to anything. I just said my lawyer told me that I shouldn't fight the charges."
It's kind of a bullshit plea. It's kind of a bullshit.
It's a white towel plea. You're throwing in the white towel without admitting you lost.
Okay.
Because you're saying my coach told me to throw in the white towel. I still want to fight.
Yeah.
My coach told me to do it. I'm innocent. I don't care what the coach said.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So Jussie did have a deal. He had a bargain. The prosecutor said, "I'm going to drop it." Okay, so it's a contract. It's an offer, acceptance, and consideration.
Yep.
I offer you. You accept the offer. You do something in consideration. You give it value. He did all that.
He did, yeah.
Now, what did they do? The America didn't like it, so they prosecuted him again. Now, again, I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I will tell you I don't like Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that that wasn't fair.
No.
They shouldn't have done that to Jussie Smollett. The second time they weaponized it, and he was now facing 150 days in jail. He did 6 days in jail unnecessarily. Hold on. After the agreement, right?
He
went
then
into jail.
Got arrested and went into jail for 6 days.
And then they released him on bail.
That was not right.
Right. Now, what I could say is
I think that was right because I don't think they should have done the original deal anyway, and they should have put him in jail. But but under the law, strictly speaking, that was not correct.
So if Jussie wanted to, and I'm not giving him any ideas, he could counterpunch and sue the government under 18 USC 1983 for violation of his civil rights. He totally could do that. He could settle for millions and millions and millions of dollars. And this will be a huge black eye to Chicago. And you know what? They should learn a lesson. Don't weaponize the justice system. If there's a deal, even if you don't like the deal, you got to stick with it. That's the moral of the story.
Mr. Smollett, if you're listening to this, you can do what Mr. Manuelian just advised, and you can make millions of dollars, but you need to cut a check to Mr. Manuelian for that advice.
I wouldn't take his case. I would tell him to take the high road.
He should just cut you a check. That's it.
He should take the high road. He should say, "You know what, RJ, I probably can't sue. I'm going to duck my head. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this because it's just bad PR." Now you're going to turn around and say, "I'm suing you for the money that I should be paying you. I mean, the audacity on that. I don't even know. I don't even know.
That's a good question.
And even if he wins,
if he's got the balls to bring the case,
even
you
if
just outlined, because there's millions sitting there. There's like the pot of gold is tempting. I wonder if he'll do that.
Even if he wins, okay, you could win a lawsuit and get $1. That's what I would give him. I give him $1. Be like liability.
The jury could award $1.
Could award $1. So he'll get $1 from me. That's how much he'll get. I'll give him the liability because it's my duty as a juror.
A Subway sandwich.
Won't even get him a chiclet. I don't even think it'll get him. Yeah, I don't think it'll get him anything. So that's what I would do. I give him $1 and then he would win. But that's about it. That's all. But the lawyers would also.
That would be epic, bro. That would be such an epic.
But the problem is, you know what the sucky part is? If he gets $1, the lawyers get to collect their attorney's fees. So the lawyers win hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Who pays for that?
The government.
Us.
Right. But Jussie would get slapped with the message saying, we're not going to give you diddly. But the lawyers would win because they would get the money. So it's still kind of not fair.
That's actually a good use of taxpayer money. I'm not mad at that.
No, I think it's a waste of time.
To slap him around for the race baiting he did, I spend money on that. That's worth like a pothole being filled.
Well, you know what? It would be great media again.
It's a societal pothole being filled.
If they do that, they should put the cameras in the courtroom and let's see this time from A to Z in the court and let's see what happens because I think it serves a purpose. This should send messages to everybody. Number one, if you're connected to a prosecutor or watching you, that's what this case is all about. Okay. And if you are a prosecutor or watching you, you should recuse yourself, which she did. Kim Foxx did, but too late after she gave this amazing deal. It's almost like, Tony, it's almost like you getting into trouble and I'm the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And let's just say you did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Tony, you know what? We'll huddle real quick. We'll do a football huddle.
Yeah.
I'll give you this deal and let's do it real fast. And we do it real fast. And when you and I get busted, we make believe like, oh, we didn't do anything wrong. And then I give it to my friend, my quote unquote friend to give it to you. After I can't give it to you, I give it to my friend who gives it to you. I mean, this is stuff that they do in Russia. This is stuff that they do in fascist countries.
Ridiculous.
It is. But
it's embarrassing.
But two wrongs don't make a right. So what the Chicago judge tried to do is he tried to undo this wrong with another wrong. And that wrong was re-prosecuting Jussie Smollet when he should have never been prosecuted again because the deal was a deal. That's the law.
Right.
When you shake hands with the government, a cooperating witness, if I'm going to cooperate with you, I'm not going to cooperate with you anymore if you're not going to give Jussie Smollett the deal. Right. I'm going to point that out. I'm going to be like, wait a second. You want me to believe what you're saying. Did you see what you did with that actor, Jussie Smollett? What are you going to do to me? You're going to betray me if you betrayed him. So it breaks the entire system, gets broken down.
Right.
This one Jussie Smollett thing could break the system down.
Right.
But in my opinion, by trying to undo it, it's just politicalization and weaponization of our criminal justice system, which is even more wrong.
Agreed. So it's probably going to rest where it is. It's probably a done deal. Maybe he doesn't raise his head again to bring more lawsuits and try to claim millions. And then this thing quietly goes away. I don't know if he ever really becomes a popular actor again. He might.
I don't know.
He could survive this.
I don't know, but his posse's already going on. His entourage is going on CNN and all these channels saying we won, we were right the whole time, and it eats me up. He's like
he's going to try to spin this as vindication.
They're using the word vindication. He's been vindicated. They use
so the headline for our video, as small as our audience is, we should just put no vindication or something. Like he's not vindicated.
He's not vindicated. He's in fact he has been absolved. He has been exonerated.
Whoa, I don't like that.
Legally exonerated. Legally exonerated.
Only of the subsequent prosecution, which was wrongful, not of the initial facts.
Right. But if you look to the finality of the merits, it's been judged by his peers that he did commit the crime.
Yeah.
We're undoing that right now because that wasn't fair. He shouldn't have been prosecuted. But if you're looking at it through the microscope or the microcosm of the facts, he is absolutely guilty of the crime. There's no question in my mind.
Jussie Smollett, guilty.